Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Mexicamelot's YouTube channel. I have a very special friend here, Michel. He's my master Jedi. I'm not sure what this conversation will be about. Well, I have a little of an idea what it will be about. Um, he's a very special person to me because he has given me new insights into the knowledge that was left by Jose Argüelles Balumbotan. And he's here for a few hours at my house, and I practically bent his arm and forced him to give me this interview because he's a very private person. Many of you may know him as a person who uploaded all the Cosmic History Chronicles in various chapters in his YouTube channel. I will leave a link into this video so that you can check it out. And I have some questions for him because I think they're not going to only help me, but they might help a lot of other people who are having the same kind of questions and might help them get some light and some insights referring to the 1320 movement. So the first question is, how did this knowledge come to your life, and when did this happen? How long have you known about this information?
Thank you, Aida. Hi, guys. Here, Michel back. It was almost 10 years ago, no, 12 years ago. I was in the Yucatan Peninsula. I was working as a tour guide and visiting a lot of Mayan sites. I had never, before that, I was never interested in Mesoamerica and in pre-Columbian cultures, and I was fascinated every time I learned something new about this ancient civilization. And in the books I was studying and my reflection about the ancient Maya civilization was always popping up the Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar, one of the great vestiges of the Mayan culture,
Mhm.
And I wanted to know what was that, and I was not satisfied with the references I found in archaeological books. And one day, I had the conversation about the Mayan calendar with a friend, and he told me about the synchronometer, and I studied it a little bit, and I was blown away, and that's how it started.
So it was through a friend.
Yes.
But well, I think that there's something very interesting that I want to point out, that the archaeological point of view of many of these findings is very Western to begin with,
Hmm.
and it wants to interpret everything according to certain guidelines that are not really what made these cultures be what they are. No, so I think that it's interesting that when you find the synchronometer, you're finding a new point of view from something that other people cannot see because they're measuring things from a point of view that is not correct, no, with the incorrect glasses, so to speak.
Yes, and one of, of the principal keys that drew me to this philosophy, this knowledge, was just the term Mayan factor. Because, well, the Mayan civilization and Mesoamerican cultures, well, they got lost in history. Part of the civilization had already disappeared, and with the conquest, well, a lot was lost.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mayan factor tells me that it's a part of the world, and it's part of our history, and it's part of our psychological, and evolutionary makeup.
Mm-hmm.
So the Mayan factor is uh, a key to understand more about ourselves, just like Eastern and Western civilization, or the different races that appear in the earth,
Mm-hmm.
and to make up this telar,
This weaving.
this historical and biological weaving.
Mm-hmm. I think it's very interesting that you're mentioning the Mayan factor, and many people may not know that, but the person who brought about this term was Jose Argüelles.
Mhm.
And now you told me that a friend introduced you to the synchronometer, but what was the first book you read by him? Did you begin with the Mayan factor
Yes, I
or
did. Yes, I
okay?
did. Yes, I
And
did.
what did you think about the book?
Well, it was very hard to understand,
Hmm.
but it was something like I understood it like intuitively. It was first-hand knowledge for me. It was the beginning, opening a portal of a thinking, of understanding a part of me that had no reference in our culture,
Hmm.
and that was real. So it was a beginning point to have a relationship, a conscious
Hmm.
relationship with that part of me.
Would you say that it was kind of helping you remember something that maybe that had been
Exactly.
forgotten?
Yes, yes, yes. And
Okay.
not only me, Michel, that was born in that day. No, me as always have been existing on this earth and as a cosmic being.
Exactly. I think that's the most precious thing about the knowledge that Arguelles has left behind, this connection with the cosmic beings. But I would like to know, what do you think is the importance of Jose Arguelles, about his work, and how would you describe what he has done? Because from all the people that I know and that I've known through the years that are connected to this knowledge, I think that you're the person who might have a better way to describe it
Ooh.
based on your experiences, because you have studied a lot throughout the years.
Yes, and I that's a real challenge, and I've been studying Arguelles for the last 10 years, and every day is a challenge just to understand my thoughts about it, and to structure it, and to know what is the beginning and what is the end. But like I said, the Mayan factor, just to put into the context, the historical context, the Mayan factor.
Hmm.
I think that Jose Arguelles is a, he is he has contributed to Western thought. Um, he has given us a giant leap, maybe more important than his predecessors,
Hmm.
in bringing a the understanding of ancient civilization to the Western understanding, and uh, and I think that it will take us a few more decades, if not centuries, to uh, um, integrate
Hmm.
him in Western thought.
Hmm. You would say he was very revolutionary then, no? And it's going to take us some time to fully understand what he was trying to tell us
Yes.
in a certain way.
Uh-huh.
And how have you integrated into your everyday life this knowledge? Or how has it been useful to you?
Well, the just the questioning of the calendar
Mm-hmm.
is very deep, and if you question the calendar, you're questioning the whole structure of Western thought, and it has not been integrated in our philosophical dialogue, in our philosophical conversation, as to what are the the establishing points of our culture, our philosophy, and the calendar is is all the time there. It's is the definition of our is the interpretation of our life,
Mm-hmm.
of everything. The calendar is what unites us with what makes everything move. Everything is based on that, and it's very hard for us to question it as it is for me.
So, but I mean, you're making a very good point. I would say that um, the calendar is something that is uniting the whole world, and at the same time, it's kind of splitting us apart. No, wouldn't you just say that? Because if you're living under a frequency that is telling you that time is money, instead of uniting us, it brings about greed, and it brings about all of this illusion of separation.
Well, the
And
calendar brings us together. Which calendar it is, it brings us together because it's technology. It's a form of language that we use to organize ourselves.
mm-hmm.
But what divides us is that we do not question it.
Mm-hmm. We're just
Okay?
taking it in as.
and Jose Arguelles's proposal is in function. It's a becomes a moral necessity to question it,
Mm-hmm.
in a sense to reunite us, to bring back the calendar issue into our philosophical conversation, and see its points, its weaknesses and its strong points, and how to, like any other technology, how to better it.
Mm-hmm. So you think you would say that it is important to change the calendar because the one we have right now is not really working?
Well, as change the calendar, us that we have discovered this new piece of technology, of
Mm-hmm.
course, is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of sense, the computer is a better form of technology than the typewriter.
Of course.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if we debate that the typewriter is better, well, that's not really true. You know?
Okay, that's a very good analogy. Yes, of course. Uh-huh. Um, I would also like to ask you because many people know your channel and the work you've been doing for the past few years. So what inspired you to upload the Cosmic History Chronicles to YouTube? Because that was a lot of work,
Yeah,
right?
that was a lot of work, and there's a lot of reason why I did this. First of all, is self study.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Um, I don't understand everything that are in those books, but I do think it's beautiful, tremendously beautiful work, and I needed I needed to share it somehow. And while I was studying, I was making those videos. So, and the creative part in studying all this has to be done at the same time as you study.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it invites you to create something, and when you learn about the calendar, you make your own calendar.
Mm-hmm.
And as you
Exactly.
study it, you draw it, and you put the stuff that you like, no?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes.
And doing the calendar was very fun for me, even though I would have liked to do it better.
Well, I think that for the tools that you have, you did a great job, and I've also heard a lot of comments from some people that I know uh, that it was really well done. I mean, um, if you think that you didn't really have a lot of money or technology behind you to do it, and still you did it, and it's so beautiful, I think that you did a great job. So,
Well, I'm thankful for the feedback, and I'm glad that they're there
hmm,
to anybody to come upon this information. I'm very grateful for that.
hmm, and mostly you have had positive feedback about it, right?
Yeah, some negative too, but it's all part of.
It's a part of the show. Yes, it's just that I think that when you're breaking a paradigm and you're bringing forth a new information, of course there's gonna be some negative feedback, no? But it's part of the work that we're doing, and all of these years that you have been studying these materials, because it's a lot of work that Arguelles did. What is your favorite part of it? Like, what aspect of this knowledge is most appealing to you and why?
um, the spiritual world has always been fascinating for me. If even if when I was a little boy, I was attracted by religion and
Mm-hmm.
the Bible, and any conversation that I could get in, I it was the best time for me.
Mm-hmm.
And Jose Arguelles, he helps me to continue exploring that. But there is a scientific part of it that also is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
No, may we can put it in this way. You know, the spiritual, the religious part of the 1320, my right brain,
The
and the
right
rational, the
hemisphere
scientific, yes,
and the left side, yes.
and there's an agreement in both hemispheres when it comes to our ways, at least for me. And the questioning of a calendar is purely scientific and
Mm-hmm.
philosophical, and uh, and I'm sure that it can be integrated into the Socratic canon of this philosophical discussion.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you're talking about a very important point here, which is the Socratic part and the part of the science. But at the same time, it connects you to your spirituality and to your cosmic being and to your higher self in a way, no?
Mm-hmm.
And the word that comes to my mind right now is synchronicity,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because synchronicities are showing you that there's an order in the universe and you can be a part of that consciously, no?
Yes.
And your kin is red overtone earth.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, the earth is all about synchronicity. So, how have you felt having that energy of the overtone earth? Like, what does it mean to you to be an overtone earth? Does synchronicity talk to you more? Does it help you connect?
Well, the Earth is big
Mm-hmm.
and it's slow. Okay, even though it goes for thousands and millions of miles an hour in the cosmos, but it's slow, it's patient, and it revolves around the sun, and it makes patiently travel through the cosmos in perfect harmony. And the Earth, for reasons still unknown to me, is the place where it gave birth to a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And the Earth faculta, confiere,
It gives, it empowers you. Mm-hmm.
empowers
Mm-hmm.
the human being
Mm-hmm.
for its role in the cosmos, which is a consciousness, the connection between the spiritual and the natural.
We were talking earlier before we started recording this interview that about that precisely that connection between the spiritual world and the 3D world now. And you said something very beautiful how this part of the spiritual universe that is very ethereal, that doesn't really have a form, when it comes into these other slower dimensions, to say it in a certain way, or more dense vibrations, it does take a form, and it's perfect. It's like nature, everything is in order and it has a structure. And I think that that's a very valuable part also of following this knowledge, no, because it makes you conscious and aware of how the numbers and how time is informing nature.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking also about a little bit about the galactic culture and the planetary being. So can you tell us a little bit more about it? How do you see the coming of the galactic culture into Earth?
Um, I'm not sure how the quote goes. I will have to look it up. But Jose Arguelles says that calendar reform is the last stage in the end of history, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
in the midst of galactic culture. I'm still having trouble with terms like that, like galactic culture. But it means that we are transcending the natural world.
Mm-hmm.
We're going beyond the Earth and the stars and cosmos to a realm that can only be accessed by ourselves, our consciousness, and we're like the middle point,
Mm-hmm.
or we can be in the middle point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like Jose Arguelles says, time informs space.
Mm-hmm.
So the energies of time are seeded into space, and we come to a point where we have the biosphere, no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the complexity,
Life taking form.
life taking form, and we're there. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and we have the ability to acknowledge that, and in the moment that we acknowledge that, we become co-creators.
Mm-hmm.
So to enter galactic culture, that's what it means to me.
To become a co-creator.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
because we can access the spiritual world to create art in the natural world. We become part,
Mm-hmm.
a conscious part of cosmic creation.
But that you have to remember that you're a cosmic being, right? You have to get rid of your nationality and your background and forget that you're just like Like we were talking about this before, no? Like you're not a little machine that is gonna go to work and that's it, no? There's more to that. So you have to really change paradigms completely. And I
Well,
would think,
consciousness is that.
uh-huh.
Consciousness is not going to work. That's the unconscious part. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
have to do it, but that's not consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Consciousness is the meaning, to live the meaning and
Mm-hmm.
go beyond the natural meaning, the meaning that can be accessed only through consciousness, human consciousness, and can be shared with your fellow conscious human beings.
So we would say that we are vessels that can receive all of this information to connect to higher realms. But I think that there's something very interesting in what you just said. Some of that part is very personal, very individual work, but at the same time, you have to share with others what you're finding so that you can resonate and help each other, like notice, no, that there's something else than just going to work from 9 to 5 or
Yes, because we're a family, and like
exactly.
a family, there it's not just about putting food on the table and everybody taking their place and do their function. Family is about sharing and loving each other,
Mhm.
and through that sharing and love and true relationships, together we access higher realms of understanding.
When we achieve this harmony, no, as a group, not only personally but as a group, no.
Yes, and the 1320 movement is about that. The Planet Art Network is about that. Is about getting together and talking about these things that are important, that are morally critical
Mm-hmm.
and transcendent.
Mm-hmm. And I would say, at least for me, that has been my experience. You can tell us right now if it has also been your experience. But the first part into awakening to this unity has been realizing that there is this natural time out there. There is this synchronometer that is helping you connect with nature and with yourself. Because there's something very beautiful, that I really love about the work of Jose Arguelles, and that's the sulking weaving, the 260 positions, and each position is very important and crucial to the everything. If you take one part away, then everything collapses.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that maybe a problem that the Planetary Art Network has had before is that you're trying to take the position of somebody else, and that's very much a part of the nature of human beings when they are asleep. You want to have what the other person has, and you're never satisfied with who you are and what you have. But I think that happens because you're not connected to nature. When you connect to nature through this tool, which is a very good tool, then you remember who you are, and then you remember you're not in competition with anybody, that
Mm-hmm.
you have your part in the weaving, and that you are here together as a collective to try to co-create
Yes,
something.
the synchronometer is not about a socialism.
No, 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 most certainly not, because everybody, even though everybody has their own part, I mean, you are a part of the everything, but at the same time you are very special on your own. You have your own frequency. Something else that I really like about the synchronometer is that every year you change your frequency. You're not the same person.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks, that's the in la catch to me, no? That
Mm-hmm.
means I am you and you are me. Because at some point, like for example, you and me, this is very special, and some people may not know it, but Michel and I belong to the same Earth family. So I am a magnetic wind, and he's an overtone Earth. So at some point in my life, I have become or will become you,
Mm-hmm.
because I will be in one of my birthdays an overtone Earth, and you have been me or will become me, because at some point in your birthday you will be a magnetic wind. So we will become one there then, and that talks to you about evolution and change.
Mm-hmm.
And you do walk in other people's shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and you can relate your experience, and you can co-create, and you don't really need to take away the place of the other person, because anyway sooner or later you're gonna be walking through the same energies and the same patterns and the same experiences and the same lessons,
Yes,
no.
and as just like a finding a relationship with the kin, you find a relationship with anything else, and you can be anything else and everyone else.
Exactly.
Everybody is unique with their own patterns. Just like in nature, we come all from the same stuff, but everything is a unique
It's very unique.
art form.
Or even in our, like, our fingers, no, the prints, our fingerprints. I mean, millions and millions of people that have walked the earth, and each one of us is different.
And
unique.
like in my relationship with you,
Mhm.
I come to understand you and try to see life through your eyes and through the experience and all the stuff that you have given me, and that is, well,
We're like mirrors, and I think that it's something very precious about this knowledge as well, because it helps you be a very good mirror to other people, but without harming them. It's more like shedding light so that you can become a better person and become more conscious of what's going on around you, no? And I think that, I mean, for me, it has helped me a lot in this sense, connecting with other people, but at the same time it can be very polarizing. And that's when you have to be really careful, because some people, instead of helping you grow, might help you, well, not help you, but the other way around, no? They might bring you down, and you have to still be very loving towards those people, no? And those situations
yes.
that can be very hurtful. But we're all, and the word kin, many people don't know that, but kin means in Mayan day, but at the same time, kin in English is like my family, no? So we are kin, we are family. So I think that it's very very precious what you can find in this path. And I thank you for this interview, and I thank you for sharing these points of view, because we are becoming mirrors right now, and I'm sure that a lot of people who are going to listen to this conversation will feel very much the same way that we're feeling. And hopefully this will bring a little bit more consciousness to the urgent need to change the calendar, and to connect with the synchronometer and connect with nature, and try to become a part of the galactic um, Renaissance. No, we were talking also about the Renaissance and Da Vinci, and you were reading about Michelangelo too, and all these artists. And I think that our job right now is to create these environments online, obviously, because we're a planetary culture. Like right now, we're in Mexico recording this, but Michel has come from Canada, and he's gonna go back to Canada, and I'm gonna stay here in Mexico. But we're connecting and we're communicating. So I think that I would also like to invite you to become a part of this conversation. I was gonna say dialogue, but no, dialogue is two people, no. So be a part of this conversation, so that we can create a change, because it's needed. It's very much needed, the change of calendar. But we need more ideas, more points of view, more co-creators to help us with this change. No, I don't know if you would like to add something else to this conversation.
I'm good. Thank you very much, Aida, to have the idea to do this, and I hope that we'll continue our conversation, and we're friends for life, you know.
Yes, for
I'm
sure. We're,
very
we're galactic
thankful.
family, so
Yes,
that's for
yes.
sure. And I'm sure that there will be a time when we can connect, even though you're in Canada. And if you're listening to this audio and you have any questions or any ideas, please do connect with us, because we need help to bring about change, and it cannot be done by one person. We have to do it as a group. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you will come back to the channel soon. There will be more surprises.